You are a business owner and you got teams that need to communicate on a regular basis, so there is no overlap or overhead, and there's no duplication of the communication. And stick around, I have a expert with me. She's going to help us understand how that works. And she is a mentor, she is trainer, and she's advisor to teams with regards to CRM. Please help me welcome Gill Walker. Welcome, Gill.
Thank you, Bashir. Great to be here.
Where were you? What happened? Who are you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Exactly what I do today was very much a journey or an evolution. One thing that I can definitely remember was when I was about 10 years old at a Christmas party with my family, telling all the world that I would end up being a consultant. At the time, with a complete fascination for medicine, my meaning and understanding of the word consultant was a consultant surgeon. I find it highly amusing that here I am. I have grown through being a CRM consultant to what I brand myself today, i.e. a CRM success catalyst. But the embryonic stages were there many, many, many years ago.
What are top 3 mistakes to avoid?
3 mistakes to avoid. Number 1, narrow-mindedness, and that includes latching on to a technology of some description and taking what I think of as finding a solution and then going and looking for the problem. So that aspect is definitely one. I also really dislike ignorance and also arrogance, and those two sit quite well together. A hefty serve of both of those in your project team, and you are probably heading fast down the wrong path.
Wonderful. What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
I've had a few failures in my however many years I've been on this planet. I've stared bankruptcy down the barrel and survived the experience. But probably the greatest and the one with the biggest learning experience was being made redundant after I had worked in America for 3 months and really saved the company who'd employed me from some pretty hideous situations. And I was made redundant after I'd been working for them for 51 weeks, because at the time in the UK, you had absolutely no security until you had been with an employer for a year, hence the 51 weeks. And it was just easier for the company to get rid of me at 51 weeks than to get rid of a number of troublemakers. And from that moment on, I have steered my own course. I have not been employed as such, and I have completely moved away, steered myself away from ever being in a situation from having all my eggs in one basket. So now, even if I lost a big client, it wouldn't be everything. It might be bad, but it wouldn't be as bad.
What are your top 3 success secrets that others can follow?
I think my 3 success tips are: keep learning, keep helping and mentoring others, and keep climbing that ladder. There is always more that you can learn. So keep learning, keep leading, keep mentoring and helping people.
What is the most impactful business book you read and what did you learn from it?
Over the years, I have read an awful lot of books and a lot of business books. But I have to admit, the one that is probably the most impactful is Simon Sinek's Start with Why. And that was impactful because for a long time, I had been aware that when you learn something, there is a lot more than just learning how to do whatever that something is. And first of all, Simon Sinek would Start with Why. And more recently, Bernice McCarthy have highlighted to me just how important that why is, and that we absolutely have to get the why across before the how, particularly in technical environments where quite often the how distills down to you click here, you go there, you type that. And really, if you thoroughly understand the why, the how becomes so much simpler. But when the focus is on the how, you're lost.
What do you want to be remembered for?
My legacy that I will be remembered for will be changing the shape of technical education and changing it so that there is a lot more emphasis on why, and also training, educating people so that they know a lot more of the reasons what might go wrong and how to recover. There is absolutely no point just knowing the straight through path, because life very rarely lets you go just straight through. You need to know what obstacles you're likely to encounter and how to get around them. And that comes from knowing significantly more than where to click and what to type.
How do you overcome a challenge life throws at you?
That certainly does depend on the challenge in question, and there's lots of different ways. I have, on rare occasions, been known to give up, but most of the time that is not my way. So I will either try as many different ways as I can, or I will do some research. And of course, in the world we live in today, we have no end of information available to us. And then Dr. Google is very happy to give us a tour through that information. Alternatively, I will go to someone else. I am very, very keen on maintaining a relatively broad circle and people with different skills to me. So quite often I could go to one of them and they will help me, either give me a solution or give me some pointers so that I can find a solution.
Once you have a revenue generating idea, how do you convince your significant other?
Ooh, that has been challenging, to say the least. Although now I'm in the fortunate situation where he is seeing that most of my ideas usually do work. But yes, we have had, in the time we've been together, we have had any number of arguments that I should just give all this up and go and get a proper job. Now, I think the honest answer is, I told you so, because there've been enough occasions where he's been pushing and I've gone in a different direction and it's turned out that I'm right. And oh boy, am I glad he's well downstairs and not listening to this conversation right now.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
That one's easy. I am going to be an educator, and I am going to turn how we educate people in technology broadly, but more specifically, how we go about doing CRM projects. From what I see in the world at the moment, there is a lot wrong with the current approach. And I want to turn that on its head and at the same time take the failure rate down. And if it went up, it would be seriously embarrassing.
Who is your living mentor and what is the impact they have on you?
Choosing one is almost impossible. But over the last probably 15 years, I have been fortunate enough to get to know and to work with a lot of thought leaders, professional speakers, mentors, coaches, and so on. Right now, I am the president of Professional Speakers Australia New South Wales chapter, and Professional Speakers has given me access to a huge number of very influential people. They have given me lots and lots of ideas, mainly around education. And I am loving what I'm doing at the moment of taking those ideas, which are rarely, if ever, applied to technology by the people within Professional Speakers, but I'm taking those ideas and finding ways of applying them to technology to help people get more out of the technology that they are using.
What are you grateful for today?
Oh, I'm grateful for lots and lots of things. Grateful for being awake, being alive, being here, given that Sydney is in a very, very hard lockdown at the moment. Grateful for lots of little things. And if you wanted a right here, right now question, I am grateful that the website for the online shop that I tried and failed to do last night, probably because there were too many people trying to use it. This afternoon, I was successful. So come Friday, we will have a lot of food delivered.
How do you start your day?
Oh, a cup of coffee. No question about that. Or let's be honest, how I actually start the day is by making a cup of coffee for me and my husband so that then we can drink it in bed. Occasionally, maybe one day a fortnight, that coffee is made for me. But it is definitely not a 50-50 division of labor in that department in our house.
Why is being impactful important to you?
Because I've got ideas, those ideas need to be shared in order to improve what we see. As we talked about earlier, I am really quite distressed about the failure rate within CRM projects, and that has to be changed. And as far as I'm concerned, the best way of changing them today, tomorrow, and into the future is by me spreading the word about how to be successful in a CRM project. If I were to just take that information and go curl up in a ball, I would be failing myself, failing society, and failing more widely. And that just doesn't sit well with me at all.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is an organization who is using Dynamics 365, who is less than happy with either an upcoming project, a current project, or an existing implementation, and they would love to get some education or training so that their results can go from where they are to where they would like to see them.
What is the advice you would give to your younger self?
Don't be a medical consultant, but also keep learning, keep laughing, keep meeting people, keep being open, and have a good time. After all, we're only here once.
How can we support you?
I'm available on the internet, and if you would like to contact me, the internet can give you the answer. to make that a little bit easier for you, if you go to opsis.com.au, and that is opsis.com.au, or alternatively, phone me on +61 for Australia 282 123480. And if I just show you that, that will give you, or maybe I need to move it a bit closer, that will give you those contact details.
What would you say about your two-day guest experience on the show?
Oh, I've loved it. But then I love being on podcasts generally. I love talking to people, interesting people. I love meeting people. Very, very happy to do that now and again. So great fun. I would thoroughly recommend anyone that you're happy to invite, or if you do get that invitation, grab it with both hands.
What would you say as a final word?
Thank you for having me. And for you, given that I know your time zone, have a good day. Anyone who's joining us from my time zone, enjoy the rest of your evening. If you're between the two of us, enjoy whatever there is available to you.
Thank you so much, Gill, for your time and wisdom on the behalf of Entrepreneur Empowerment Club. We really appreciate, and on the behalf of entire team, we truly appreciate you. I hope our path cross again with another amazing guest. Until then, have a great day.
Thank you, Bashir. Great to talk to you, and I look forward to hearing the recording.